Well, you're listening to Sports Talk Live, hosted by me, Brandon Buckner, live from the famous E Radio WMCR studios. Hello, once again, and happy Tuesday, and welcome into Sports Talk Live. Today is Tuesday, April 13th, 2021, and boy, do I have a great show. I woke up this morning and I was listening to my favorite sports talk show hosted by Skip and Shannon Sharp, which, by the way, Shannon Sharp used to play for the NFL with two teams. He played for the Broncos, then coached by Mike Shanahan, and he also played with the Baltimore Ravens, then coached by the Marvin Lewis. And they were going at it to see who was going to win MVP this year in the NBA. Well, to no one's guessing, since LeBron is still out with injury, I mean, Joel Embiid is making his case for MVP. So is James Harden and Giannis. And don't forget, Luka Doncic is making his case for MVP. But, we tend to forget the other players that are in the league and that are making their case for MVP, like Kevin Durant, Russell Westbrook, Bradley Beal. We tend to forget the guys that are doing whatever they can to help their team make the playoffs. And right now, the Wizards are trying desperately to make the playoffs. They've won two straight. They've beaten the Magic, the Warriors, and now they've beaten the Jazz. Correction, make that three straight games on their six-game West Coast road trip. It was a little odd of a road trip for the Wizards as they had to go. They went from Orlando to Oakland, San Francisco, to Utah, to Phoenix, and then tomorrow night they're going back to Oakland, California to play the Sacramento Kings. That's like a whistler. That's a weird trip, if you ask me. That's like a weird of a trip to go from one city to the next and going back to the same city that you actually started your road trip on. Because the Wizards, they played Friday in Golden State, and now they got to go back on the road to Sacramento this Wednesday to play the Kings to end their six-game road trip. It's kind of cliche and kind of backwards, but it's how the NBA does things. So when we look at the NBA MVPs and we try to say, okay, you know what? It's not always about Luka. It's not always about Giannis. It's not always about LeBron. It's not always about James Harden. It's not always about the players that we've come to know as MVPs. And Russell Westbrook, my man, he has MVP stock. So to say that Russell Westbrook, can be MVP, I believe Russell Westbrook can and will be MVP again. And even if Russell Westbrook has put up MVP type numbers. I don't care what team Westbrook is playing for. He's going to turn that team into a playoff contender and into an NBA Finals contender, just like he did all those years ago with Thunder. And he played that 1 year with the Rockets. Now he's here in the District of Columbia playing for my hometown team, the Wizards. So, I mean, it's inevitable to think that Russell Westbrook can win MVP, just like Bradley Beal. Bradley Beal is the leading scorer of the NBA still, and he's averaging 30 points a game. And he's leading the NBA in those point totals. So we talk about MVP type numbers, MVP type players. We forget the ones that are playing right now. LeBron isn't playing. James Harden isn't playing. Joel Embiid just got back from an injury, 3-4 weeks ago, maybe a week ago. We talk about the ones that are playing now, the ones that have been, trying desperately to get their playoffs to the playoffs. And Westbrook and Beal have done that for the Wizards. We're not talking about LA. We're not talking about Milwaukee. We're not talking about Brooklyn. We're not talking about Dallas. We're not talking about Philly, because we know all those teams have made the playoffs countless of times. But we're talking about the teams that look at the New York Knicks. Look how good the Knicks are doing. And nobody expected the Knicks to win as many games as they've done this year. Nobody expected that. Nobody had expected the Knicks to be this good, but they have. And they've overcame some obstacles, and having Coach Tibbs, Coach Tom Thibodeau in their corner, great coach, great man. He was a player before he was a coach. So he coached the Bulls, the Wolves, and, he's just a great coach. Great coach. So there's a story that I heard today. Kind of bittersweet, but well deserved. Julian Edelman's storied career in New England and pro football is complete, as Edelman officially announced his retirement from the NFL on Monday, a little over an hour after the Patriots terminated his contract due to a failed physical. By any measure of what constitute an elite NFL career wins, championships, production, Julian has it all. Patriots coach Bill Belichick said in a statement from the team. Few players can match Julian's achievements, period. But considering his professional trajectory and longevity, the group is even more select. It is historic. This is a tribute to his legendary competitiveness, mental and physical toughness, and will to excel. Edelman leaves after completing an incredibly impressive career at a position he hadn't played until he reached the NFL, yet proved invaluable in the clutch. Once a star dual-threat quarterback at Kent State, Edelman converted to receiver, arriving in New England via a seventh-round pick in the 2009 NFL Draft. The diminutive Edelman became a favorite target of Tom Brady, catching 37 passes for 359 yards and a touchdown in his first season before blossoming into the ideal slot receiver in New England's offense in 2013. In that season, Edelman posted his first 1,000-yard campaign, catching 105 passes for 1,056 yards and 6 TDs. 3 seasons later, Edelman made the greater highlight grab of his career, snagging a deflected pass from the centimeters of space above the turf at Houston's NRG Stadium to help the Patriots remain alive in a furious comeback attempt that ultimately lifted them to an overtime win over the Atlanta Falcons. In the Super Bowl, Edelman also earned MVP honors in the Super Bowl after catching 12 passes for 141 yards versus the Rams, his third and final Super Bowl triumph. In between, Edelman grew into Brady's trusty target underneath, catching 599 passes for 6,507 yards and 36 TDs from 2009 to 2019. So while helping the organization capture 3 Super Bowl titles, Edelman also is second all-time to only Jerry Rice in postseason receptions, 118, and yards, 1,442. Whenever Brady needed to find a reliable pass catcher for a third down conversion or red zone reception, Edelman was there to follow through time and time again. His 620 career receptions ranked second in team history behind Wes Welker, 672. Julian Edelman is one of the great success stories in our franchise's history, said Patriots owner Robert Kraft said in a statement. There are many players who earn an NFL spot at a position they have never played before. Julian not only did as a 7th-round draft selection, but he is retiring with the second most career receptions in franchise history and as a 3-time Super Bowl champion, including his last as Super Bowl MVP. With his pals Brady and Rob Gronkowski gone for Tampa, the 34-year-old appeared in just 6 games in 2020, catching 21 passes for 315 yards and a New England offense that struggled mightily without proper pass-catching talent for new arrival Cam Newton. It was a knee injury suffered in 2020 that forced Edelman to call it a career, with the receiver telling fans in his announcement video that after years of saying he'd go until the wheels came off, they finally fallen off. Edelman succeeded as the latest of a handful of mid-major products that found their niche in the NFL and ran with it to stardom. He leaves as a beloved core piece of the second half of New England's 2-decade dynasty, and one will forever be remembered for his timely contributions and personification of grit and desire on a football field. A fan favorite in New England, his contributions won't be forgiven anytime soon, and he'll undoubtedly be missed. My friend, Julian Edelman, I wasn't a huge fan of the Patriots, but I was a huge fan of what you did in the New England community and what type of player you assembled yourself in New England. Check this out. Julian Edelman was drafted in 2009 by the Patriots. He was drafted in 2009. He won 3 championships with the Patriots, playing alongside a franchise Hall of Fame quarterback like Tom Brady. And Tom Brady goes from New England to Tampa and teams up with Bruce Arians after years of being coached by the legendary great Bill Belichick. And now you're saying, okay, who's Tom Brady, throwing it to now? Well, Tom Brady has young receivers that he's throwing it to. When he was up in New England, Julian Edelman was a third down receiver back where, when the Patriots needed a third down play, Julian Edelman was there. So, with Julian Edelman's historic run as the Patriots' all-time leader in receptions and touchdowns and everything like that. Wes Welker, I think he might have passed Wes Welker. But think about this. In the sense that Julian Edelman retires, he's going to go and broadcast for either CBS, NFL, NFL Network, or Fox. It happens to every NFL player who retires from the game. Look at Greg Olsen, former Panther, Seattle Seahawk. He is now this fall going to be broadcasting for the NFL on Sundays. Whether Julian Edelman does the same thing or not. Julian Edelman might broadcast on Monday Night Football. He might be broadcasting on Thursday Night Football. He might be broadcasting on Sunday Morning Football, Fox 5. He might be broadcasting on Sunday Night Football, NBC. He might be broadcasting on CBS Football. We don't know, but this guy was just great. I mean, Julian Edelman, the games I've seen this guy just playing, and his passion for the game is stupendously great. His passion for everything that he puts himself into is great. And, hey, I wish you all the best, Julian, man, because you deserve it. 3 rings and playing alongside a great franchise quarterback, Tom Brady. I know I give Tom Brady a lot of grief, man, but, geez, hey, anybody that can play alongside Tom Brady, win a couple rings before he retires, hey, that's great. That's a great thing. That's great news. And Julian Edelman, I don't even think he was 40 yet. I think Julian Edelman is 35, 37 years old. So, he might be retiring at a good age where, his injuries have stacked up against him and he doesn't even want, the spotlight to be around him. And he probably didn't want to come back for another year, just in case he got re-injured again. So, I mean, retirement was the best bet for him, and I'm glad he did. So congratulations, Mr. Edelman. Moving on here. In a record book featuring some of the best bucket makers in NBA history, Stephen Curry now stands alone. The 2-time Kia MVP and 3-time NBA champion passed Wilt Chamberlain for the Warriors' all-time scoring record of 17,783 points on Monday night against Denver, scoring 21 points in the first quarter to further cement his place as a franchise icon. Curry finished the historic night with 53 points in the Warriors' 116-107 win over the Nuggets, marking his third 50-point game of the season. Curry joins Chamberlain, Michael Jordan, James Harden, Elgin Baylor, Kobe Bryant, and Rick Barry as only players in NBA history that have scored 50 or more points 3 times in the season and multiple seasons. Curry tops Chamberlain on Warriors' all-time scoring list. The 7-time All-Star accomplished the feat in his own groundbreaking fashion, making 10 3-pointers, 2 more than the entire Nuggets team. The performance was his 18th with at least 10 made threes, far and away the most such games in league history. Warriors teammate Klay Thompson is second with 5 games of 10 or more threes made or more. Curry, whom Golden State drafted 7th overall in 2009, already owns the team's all-time marks for most assists, 3-pointers, and free throw percentage in a Warriors uniform. He also is on pace to pass Chris Mullin for the Warriors' records for all-time steals and games played within the next season or two, health permitting. Though Golden State is struggling under the weight of injuries, too. Thompson, the number 2 overall pick, James Wiseman. Curry is enjoying his best statistical season since his back-to-back MVP seasons in 15 and 16 when the Warriors went to the finals against the Cleveland Cavaliers. A 33-year-old guard who played just 5 games last year due to injury himself is averaging 29.9 points, 5.5 rebounds, 6.0 assists, and 1.3 steals while shooting 48.3% overall, 41.2% from beyond the arc, and 92.4% from the free throw line. Now, those are MVP-type numbers. MVP-type numbers, people. MVP-type numbers. MVP-type numbers. And I'll say it again. MVP-type numbers. Okay? Seriously. So let's take a look at the Warriors' all-time scoring leader, shall we? So we all know about Steph Curry. Years with the Warriors, 2009 to present. So Curry has been with the Warriors now for 13, 14 years. That's a huge accomplishment. And only played one team. A point scored, well, just mentioned it up top, 17,818. Next up, Wilt Chamberlain played with the Warriors from 59 to 65. Points scored, 17,783. Rick Barry, years with the Warriors, 65 to 67, 72 to 78. Points scored with the Warriors, 16,447 points. Paul Arizin, years with the Warriors, 1950 to 52, 1954 to 1962. Points scored with the team, 16,266. And last but not least, my man, Chris Mullin. Years with the Warriors, 85 to 1997. Points scored with the Warriors, 16,235. And those are some serious MVP type people that I've just named. Stephen Curry, when he came to the league in 2009 from, Wisconsin, he played University of Wisconsin. He played at Davidson. He played at Wisconsin, and he played at Davidson. Davidson was his last college he went to before the claim for the NBA draft in 2009. His father, Dale Curry. The Curry family is just huge, guys. It's huge. He plays on the team with his brother-in-law, who's married to his sister, Damian Lee. Damian Lee is Stephen Curry's brother-in-law by marriage, because Damian Lee is married to Stephen Curry's sister. Now, Doc Rivers, Seth Curry, his brother, is married to Doc Rivers' sister, Austin Rivers' sister. And he's married to Doc Rivers' daughter. So that family is huge. Steph Curry also has another sister who's married to Doc Rivers' son, Austin Rivers. So, that family is having family reunions all over the place. They having barbecues, holidays, they get togethers. They just have everything out on the table. And that's a big family, because the Currys are a big, big family. I've seen them, and they look like a great family. I would say that Stephen Curry is one of the top 50 players I've seen play in the league today. Shooting threes, and he has a high, free throw percentage of 92.4%. That's almost 100%. And his three-point shooting is something to marvel at. Like Ray Allen type three-point shooting, Ray Allen type numbers, Reggie Miller type numbers. But in the sense that Stephen Curry can go down as the point leader with the Warriors organization before he retires, that is an amazing accomplishment by a guy that's still young. Curry is still young. But he has championship gold. He has championship gold to prove it, to prove his ranks. Unlike Mr. Stephen A. Smith. I mean, come on, man. Like, seriously. Anyway, you don't need a ring all the time to prove your historic rights. We saw that firsthand with Russell Westbrook 2 weeks ago, past Magic Johnson and Oscar Robertson. And Russell Westbrook is now the leading scorer for Washington organization, and Bradley Beal is now the leading scorer for the Wizards organization. Both of those guys. And we just got Russell Westbrook, this year? Last year, 2020. I'm telling you, look, these players, they're trying to make their name, stamp their name in the MVP conversation this year. And I won't be surprised if it comes down to the last point vote to see who is going to get that MVP this year. I don't think it's going to be Giannis. I really don't. It could be Joel Embiid because the Philly is in first place. It could be James Harden because Brooklyn is right behind him. Then it could be Steph Curry. Could be Donovan Mitchell. It could be Kawhi Leonard. It could be Paul George. Could be Russell Westbrook. Could be Bradley Beal. It could be any NBA player that's stepping up to the plate this year and that's having MVP type seasons. It could be Kevin Durant. Could be Derrick Rose. Could be anybody that they're playing and that they're having MVP type numbers. So congrats, Mr. Steph Curry, on a job well done and a great accomplishment. Now, some more news. So Phoenix's dramatic turnaround season hit a new peak in their 126-120 victory over Houston on Monday. one that set a new standard of long-distance damage. The Suns set an NBA record with 12 made three-pointers in the second quarter, eclipsing the previous mark of 11. Jay Crowder highlighted the hot streak with a perfect 5-for-5 shooting from beyond the arc in the corner, while the Suns, the team, shot 12-16 from downtown in that 12-minute span. Phoenix finished the game with the new franchise record, 25 made three-pointers, with Crowder accounting for 8 of them. 9 different Suns players made at least one three-pointer on the night. Phoenix, which holds the league's second-longest playoff drought, 10 years, currently boasts the second-best record in the league and trails first-place Utah by 1.5 games in the standings. So this is another team, Phoenix. When they were in the bubble last May, Phoenix went 8-0, and they didn't even make the playoff. The Grizzlies, who hadn't even won a lot of games in the bubble, had outplayed them for the 10th for that play-in game against the Portland Trailblazers. This year, Phoenix is in second place behind Utah, which my Wizards beat them last night. Got to brag a little bit on my Wizards, man. I love them. I love Russ. I love Brad. I love what they're doing for that Wizards organization. I love Coach Brooks. I love what they're doing. Love what they're doing. But anyway, Utah is still in first place after that loss to the Wizards. Phoenix is in second place after that huge victory over the Rockets. The Rockets, by the way, they're bad. Like when Houston got John Wall, I thought John Wall would like fix the team. But here's what I'm noticing. One superstar can't fix your team. You got to have multiple all-stars around you to help fix your team. And hey, like them or not, the Lakers have superstars around that team that they're now winning and they're building. I don't care if LeBron or Anthony Davis is hurt right now. They have other multiple cast members, and they just signed Andre Drummond last week. So now he's with LA. You might not like them. The Brooklyn Nets. Blake Griffin, Kyrie, KD, James Harden. You know, the list go on. DeAndre Jordan, the list can go on and on and on and on. But I'm not going to sit here and do that. Catch your point? The Wizards. Brad, Russ, Robin Lopez, Alex Len, Davis Bertans, Matthews, just everybody on that team. LA Clippers, Kawhi, Paul George. Can't name them all. I'm not going to. But Phoenix is a team that, yeah, I believe they can give the Lakers a run for their money. And another MVP candidate, as a matter of fact, 2 MVP candidates I forgot to mention off that team, Devin Booker and Chris Paul. Those guys are making it happen for Phoenix. Let me tell you something. They are making it happen for the Suns. Chris Paul came from OKC to Phoenix to team up with Devin Booker to help bring some type of championship to Phoenix. I don't think the Suns are going to make the NBA Finals this year, but they might get close to it. So all the teams, like teams 1 through 8 or 1 through 10, I think are going to play in the tournament. I got to take a look at my stats, get back to you. But I think 1 through 10 is playing in the playing tournament. So, yeah, I mean, Phoenix is just a team that, they had a 10-year drought. Last time they made the playoffs, 2010, 2011 with Steve Nash and Amari Stoudemire was on the team, and Mike D'Antoni was the coach. So you got to go back to the 2010s and the 2000s, and you got to make sure, okay, the last time the Suns made the playoffs, might have been 2010, 2011. But that Phoenix team had MVP type players: Nash, Stoudemire, Sean Marion, Boris Diaw. I can go on about that team. This Phoenix team has Booker and Paul and Jay Crowder. So possibly, Phoenix can, get home court advantage throughout the playoffs. Possibly they might have to go on the road for the first 2 games of the Western Conference Finals if they do in fact make the finals, the Western Conference Finals. But congratulations to Phoenix on being in second place in the NBA playoff picture. Congratulations to you guys. And that was some more NFL news. This was amazing. Wow. When I heard about this story, I was like, geez, Washington is getting some players, and Washington is going to be very good. Washington might just win the division in the NFC East next year. And listen, we're going to be bringing back Ryan Kerrigan. I know he visited some teams, but he's going to end his career as a Washington football player, and I'm so happy about that. So Washington's top tight end last season, Logan Thomas, didn't play the position in college. Its latest tight end acquisition didn't even play the sport until recently. The football team signed former Tulane basketball player Sammis Reyes on Tuesday, just weeks after he impressed scouts as a pass catcher at Florida's Pro Day. Reyes, who grew up in Chile before moving to the United States at the age of 14, played basketball at North Broward Prep in Florida and then at Tulane. In 2 seasons on the hardwood for the Green Wave, the 6'6" athlete started 2 of 32 games played and played 254 minutes total, scoring 24 points and recording 48 rebounds and 12 blocks. He also spent some time with the Chilean national team. After college, however, Reyes turned to the gridiron. Reyes spent the last 10 weeks training with 10 other NFL hopefuls involved in the International Player Pathway Program at MIG Academy in Florida before showing out at Florida's Pro Day on March 31st. The 25-year-old isn't guaranteed a spot on Washington's opening day roster, but there was opportunity there to crack the final 53-man roster. As things stand, Reyes will compete with Tamar Hemingway, Marcus Ball, Tyron Swoops, and Dylan Cantrell to back up Thomas. Wow. So the Washington football team is signing a basketball player by the name of Sammy Reyes. Wow, this is fantastic stuff. I can't tell you how happy I am that Washington is signing a 6'6" athlete, super athlete, and he's going to be good for Washington because Logan Thomas needs some backups for him, and I think Sammy Reyes is going to be a great backup for him. I mean, he's coming from basketball, he's coming from the hardwood now. I don't know how well he's going to do on the gridiron. I don't know how well he's going to do. He's coming from the hardwood to the gridiron. It's not like he played baseball, like he was outside. He's coming from the gridiron where he played basketball. And I know that before Allen Iverson played basketball, Allen Iverson was a quarterback. Before Michael Vick played football, Michael Vick played basketball. So there are a lot of NFL players, former NFL players that are either retired. They are former NBA players who played football and then transitioned to the NBA. They're basketball players that transition from basketball to the gridiron. So, hey, I got nothing but respect for those guys who do that. So congratulations, Mr. Sammy Reyes. Moving on here. So James Conner's first free agent visit of the week proved to be his last. Conner has agreed to terms on a 1-year deal with the Arizona Cardinals, their team announced Tuesday. Conner visited Arizona on Monday, drawing his first public interest during free agency after spending his first 4 NFL seasons with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Evidently, he was sold on what he saw and will be joining the team in which he can occupy an important role in the Cardinals' backfield as he gets bigger, bruising running back. The former University of Pittsburgh star will share a load with smaller spellback Chase Edmonds and a United quarterback by Kyler Murray, and headline players like DeAndre Hopkins and A.J. Green. Conner will be expected to contribute from the outset as Arizona has clearly demonstrated it is all in for 2021. That will, of course, require being available. Conner's greatest hurdle has been his own health in his career, playing at least 10 games in each of his 4 professional seasons, but never more than 14. Following his Pro Bowl season of 18, Conner wasn't able to establish a rhythm in 19 or 2020, while also running behind a declining Steelers offensive line. NFL Network insider Ian Rapoport also reported Monday that Conner underwent surgery to repair a turf toe type injury this offseason. A full recovery is expected for Conner by June, Rapoport added. Conner's journey west also mirrors that of former Steelers running back Rashad Mendenhall, who spent his first 5 seasons in Pittsburgh before heading to Arizona for a 1-year stint with the Cardinals, which ended with his retirement in March of 2014. While both have suffered significant knee injuries in their careers, Conner's is long behind him, and he seems to be better positioned to make an impact than Mendenhall, never the same following his January 2012 ACL tear was by the time he moved west. Conner gets a fresh start over 1,000 miles from his home of Western Pennsylvania, where he grew up, attended college, and began his NFL career. A change of scenery might be good, especially with the team that is expected to make noise in 2021. So James Conner leaves Pittsburgh. He played 3 years with the Steelers, and now he's heading west to Arizona. Wow, so many players are now heading to Arizona, like J.J. Watt, DeAndre Hopkins, and now James Conner. So many guys are like heading west. The problem is the Arizona Cardinals are not that good of a team. Here's why. Last year, the Cardinals were all the way. They were in the playoff picture up until the last 2 or 3 games of the year. And the thing about it is the Cardinals lost their last game of the season, in which they could have been in the playoff picture, but they couldn't beat the Rams the last game of the season. And that game was in Arizona. So what would make me think that the Cardinals are going to be any better with Watt and James Conner? I don't know. I know Kyler Murray is a great quarterback, stand-up quarterback, great quarterback. But the defense is what you want to look for when you're playing on a good team. The defense is what you want to look for. And if you're looking for the defensive front that has been manhandling you for years, and that is one thing that you don't want to see. You don't want to get J.J. Watt on the field, have him get injured, have him suffer all these injuries like he did in Houston, and not playing out to his potential in an Arizona Cardinal uniform. Same thing with James Conner. You don't want to have him go all the way to Arizona, sign with the Cardinals, and then have an injury-plagued season, because these are the things that you have to look out for when you are signing these veterans, when you are signing these veteran free agents. You got to look at their health history, their seasons they've been injured. If you don't look at that, you're not looking at the full potential of your team. And what the full potential of your team is, you're not looking at that. Okay? Now, I know the Cardinals have a pretty long defensive team, but, I mean, are you even looking at what they're doing in terms of the NFL draft, in terms of looking at who they want to keep, who they want to bring back? You got to look at all those pieces. You got to look at all those things. And if you look at that, then you'll be good to go. But if you don't look at those things, you can't bring those people back. You can't say, okay, well, we try to do that. No, you got to look at all the things that have made you great. So you got to look at those things. But, hey, congratulations, James Conner, man. I wish you good luck in Arizona out west, buddy, with your new team. So congrats, man. Congrats. So moving on. So one of Tennessee's greatest football players is turning to coaching one of the state's storied football programs. Eddie George was officially hired Tuesday as the head coach of Tennessee State. George is replacing Ron Reed, who had been with the Tigers since 2010, before the school parted ways with him Monday. Tennessee State and HBCU hasn't made the FCS playoffs since 2013 and just wrapped up a 2-5 season. George played his college ball at Ohio State, the flagship football program of the Big Ten Conference, but will now take his talents to the Ohio Valley Conference. The former Titans great has no coaching experience, but he isn't the first former NFL star to turn FCS coaching with limited experience in recent years. Hall of Fame cornerback Deion Sanders was hired as head coach of rival HBCU program and Southern Heritage Classic opponent Jackson State in September of last year. Former Broncos receiver Ed McCaffrey was hired as the Northern Colorado head coach in December of 2019. George, who played for the Oilers/Titans franchise for 8 seasons, spent 7 years of his career in the state of Tennessee, one of the top running backs of his era. George took home NFL AP Offensive Rookie of the Year honors, was voted to 4 Pro Bowls, and was named first-team All-Pro in 2000. His number 27 was retired by the Titans in 2019. Among the notable NFL players to come out of Tennessee State are Hall of Famers Richard Dent and Claude Humphrey, Ed Too Tall Jones, Anthony Pleasant, and Dominique Rodgers-Cromartie. With Georgia's leadership, Tennessee State will hope to produce some more players. Wow, this is a great accomplishment. Eddie George, former Titan, older player. Wow, great job, man. Great accomplishment. See, this is what I'm talking about. Like NFL greats that have played for years and that go and coach high school football. Look at Phillip Rivers. He's going to coach his son's high school football team. He just retired from the NFL game back in January when the Colts lost to the Bills in the first round of the playoffs. So you talk about players. And Drew Brees might do the same when his kids get older. He might be coaching his son's Pee-wee football game or his son's Pee-wee basketball game or something like that. Or he might volunteer to referee for one of his son's games or, his daughter's games. Listen, this is what this is what we do as NFL fans and spectators. We look at what the greats are doing and how they're, how they're coming away from the game, like a Deion Sanders, like a Eddie George, and they're coaching college or high school football. I think Deion Sanders is coaching his son's high school football team as well, HBCU program down in there. So, we got to look at these things and say, okay, you know what? This is great accomplishments. These NFL greats have they don't want to say that they played the game and then that was it. They just retire and do nothing. No, they want to get back out there. They feel like they still young. They feel like they still got legs to move. They feel like they still got those young man legs, young man jeans. And they go out there and coach a football team, a football season. And Deion Sanders, he still feels like he's young. He still feels like he can go out there and coach and coach this team and help this team win, which he did an outstanding job at HBCU this past year. And now Eddie George is doing it. So these NFL greats that are in their 40s, 50s, 60s, in their primes, they still out here trying to coach, make something, that they still want to do. So I applaud them. I applaud them quite well, quite well. Great accomplishment. Congratulations, Eddie George and Deion Sanders once again. Moving on. So Russell Wilson will be front and center in the effort to educate the country on the COVID-19 vaccine. The Seattle Seahawks quarterback will host an hour-long special, Roll Up Your Sleeves, airing Sunday on NBC with his wife Sierra, aimed at creating awareness and education regarding the vaccines. President Joe Biden, former President Barack Obama, Michelle Obama, and a host of Hollywood stars and professional athletes will join the show. The country's top public health figure, Anthony Fauci, will be interviewed on the special by Matthew McConaughey. The special will be produced by ATTN and feature public figures, performers, and frontline medical professionals. ATTN, we believe in the power of entertainment to inform audiences, and we're thrilled to partner with NBC, Civic Nation, Walgreens, and many great public figures and performers to get out this critical message. The pro-vaccine push presented by Walgreens will air Sunday, April 18th at 7 p.m. Eastern on NBC. Check your local listings when that day and time and channel airs your area. And actually, it's this Sunday. So April 18th at 7 p.m., check your local listings for that show or that event. I think it's great to, educate the country on getting, the COVID-19 vaccine shots. Even though you could feel the effects of COVID, a little bit of effects after you get that second shot, I hear, but it's all good. And as long as you get the shot, you're protected, you should be all good. But I like what Russell Wilson and his wife Sierra is doing because it's very good. So congratulations to those. Congratulations to President Biden, President Obama, former First Lady Michelle Obama, and Matthew McConaughey, and Dr. Anthony Fauci as well. Moving on here. So ISO Joe Johnson wants to clear out space for an NBA championship trophy. Joe Johnson, who turns 40 in June, is scheduled to work out with the Milwaukee Bucks later this week, according to Hoops Hype. The Bucks currently have one open roster spot remaining as they prepare for the postseason, which begins May 22nd. Johnson was a member of the 14-player roster for the final round of the 2022 FIBA America Men's Qualifying Team in February, when he averaged 11 points, 9 rebounds, and 6.5 assists in 26 minutes per game on 50% shooting in 2 games. The 7-time All-Star hasn't appeared in an NBA game since the 2018 playoffs with the Houston Rockets. The former Net was close to an NBA return in September of 19 when he signed with the Detroit Pistons following a summer stint in the Big Three. The Pistons ended up waiving Johnson a month later. Johnson was selected by the Celtics with their 10th overall pick in the 2001 draft, could bring a veteran presence to the Bucks, who are without their star Giannis Antetokounmpo. Johnson appeared in 120 playoff games in his career. The Greek Freak has been out with left knee soreness, and Sunday marked his 5th consecutive game on the sidelines. That same day, Coach Mike Budenholzer told reporters that there is no timeline for Antetokounmpo's return. The Bucks, who have had disappointing playoff finishes in recent seasons, are among the favorites in the Eastern Conference with the Nets and Sixers. So I can see why the Bucks want to open that extra spot for Mr. Joe Johnson. Joe Cool, back in school. Love that song. Song from Charlie Brown, Snoopy. He was in school at the Sunshades on. Anyway, Joe Johnson, 40 years old. Wow. I can't believe ISO Joe is trying to make a comeback. I mean, don't get me wrong. Joe Johnson is a great player, great 3-point shooter, great 3-and-D player. But at some point, come on, man. Really? At 40 years old, man, you should be doing other things, man. But coming back, hey. It's not my body. It's not me. The Bucks got an open spot for Joe, for ISO Joe, Joe Cool. Joe Johnson, you take that spot, man. Trying to get yourself an NBA championship. I don't think the Bucks are going to go to the finals this year, but you can try. So I wish you good luck, man. Joe Johnson played his best years in Atlanta with Al Horford and Josh Smith and Jeff Teague and Kyle Korver, all those guys. And now played with the Celtics in 2001. And then he's been around the league, Detroit, Houston, Miami, Brooklyn. He's been around. Utah, Phoenix. So he's been around. So congrats, Joe. So moving on. So this was amazing. So Sean Payton will be played by Kevin James in the upcoming Netflix movie Home Team. New Orleans Saints head coach Sean Payton is getting the Netflix treatment. NBC Sports' Peter King revealed in his Football Morning in America call on Monday that the streaming platform is making a movie about Payton's time coaching his son's 6th grade football team in 2012 when he was suspended from the league for his role in the bounty scandal. The movie is called Home Team, and we also know who will be playing Payton in the movie. Actor and comedian Kevin James. Yes, Kevin James of the TV show King of Queens and movies like Grown Ups, Pixels, and Paul Bart Mall Cop. James and Payton look kind of similar. A little bit. Well, there's at least a passing resemblance. Perhaps this fact explains James' casting a little more. The movie is being produced by Happy Madison Productions, which is Adam Sandler's production company. Happy Madison has produced 8 movies James has starred or appeared in, including some of his biggest hits. The movie is based on a true story. This plot of the movie feels like a Hollywood creation, right? A big-name head coach spends a year reevaluating his life and coaching his young son's football team while he's serving a suspension for one of the NFL's most notorious scandals. But it's true. When Payton was suspended, he served as the offensive coach for his son's football team at Liberty Christian in Argyle, Texas. That's the same school where former Dallas Cowboys tight end Jason Witten was recently named head coach. Payton talked about it in a 2019 Sports Illustrated interview and mentioned how he wrote original plays for the team and used his NFL playbook as a basis for other plays. The story might be true, but there will likely be a lot of liberties taken with the actual content. You don't cast Kevin James in a movie just to watch him get up, go to practice, coach his son's team, drive home, have dinner with his family, and go to sleep. That's normal person stuff. You cast James because he's funny and a gifted physical comedian. James does a lot of falling down and running into things in his movies, and it doesn't seem like Payton does any of that. Or if he does, it's probably not Kevin James level funny. The big plot points will probably remain true to life. According to King, Payton recently read the script and made a few corrections before sending it back. We can assume we'll see more comedic set pieces that are likely made up. The movie doesn't have a release date yet, but filming is expected to start sometime this year. Hopefully, it goes quickly because Kevin James playing Sean Payton in the movie is something the world deserves to see as soon as possible. So, congratulations, Mr. Kevin James, on your new role, man. I'm sure you'll play the role of Sean Payton very well. You're a funny man, King of Queens, Paul Bart Mall Cop. Hey, man, you're just a funny guy all around, and you deserve to have a big role like that. So, congratulations, Mr. Kevin James. So, moving on. So, the 2021 WNBA draft to be held April 15th, actually this Thursday. WNBA Commissioner Kathy Engelbert will announce the draft picks live on ESPN with exclusive coverage beginning at 7 p.m. Eastern, and top prospects will take part virtually. The draft will also be available on the ESPN app and on the ESPN network. So here's the 2021 WNBA draft order. I'm going to break these down for you guys. First round, Dallas from New York. 2, Dallas. Number 3 pick, Atlanta. Number 4 pick, Indiana. Number 5 pick, Dallas gets from Washington via New York. The number 6, New York from Connecticut via Phoenix. The number 7 pick, Dallas from Chicago. The number 8 pick, Chicago from Phoenix via Dallas. The number 9th pick, Minnesota. The number 10th pick, Los Angeles. The number 11th pick, Seattle. The number 12th pick, Las Vegas. Second round, first pick, Dallas gets from New York. Second round pick, Las Vegas gets from Indiana. Third pick, Atlanta. Fourth pick, Chicago gets from Dallas via Los Angeles and Dallas. Number 5, New York gets from Washington. Number 6, Seattle gets from Connecticut. Number 7, Indiana gets from Chicago. Number 8, Connecticut gets from Phoenix. Number 9, Connecticut gets from Minnesota. Number 10, Los Angeles. Number 11, Seattle picks. Number 12, Indiana gets from Las Vegas. In the third round, first pick, New York gets. Second pick, Indiana gets. Number 3 pick, Atlanta gets. Number 4 pick, Los Angeles from Dallas gets. Number 5 pick, New York from Washington gets. Number 6, Connecticut gets. Number 7, Indiana from Chicago gets. Number 8, Phoenix gets. Number 9, Indiana from Minnesota gets. Number 10, Los Angeles. Number 11, Seattle gets. And number 12, Las Vegas gets. So those are the draft orders for the WNBA draft. Make sure you don't miss it. Comes your way Thursday, April 15th at 7 p.m. on the ESPN app. So moving on. So the WNBA's 25th regular season tips off May 14th. All 12 teams begin quest for WNBA crown during opening weekend. Tip-off weekend puts spotlight on MVPs as Candace Parker makes her Sky debut versus Atlanta De La Don and the Mystics, and Breanna Stewart Storm hosts Aces and Aja Wilson. So the WNBA today released its 2021 regular season game schedule, with the league tipping off its landmark 25th season on Friday, May 14th, with a weekend of action featuring all 12 teams. The league will unveil its complete television schedule in the upcoming weeks. On the heels of the launch of the WNBA's season-long 25th anniversary campaign, Count It, and the league's new Wilson basketball and Nike uniform unveilings, attention will now be focused on the league's brightest stars as they bring women's professional basketball back to arenas with an opening weekend highlighted by star-studded matchups. Count It signifies the WNBA is not done counting achievements because there are many more to come as WNBA players continue to excel and defy expectations. The 2021 season officially gets underway on Friday, May 14th, with Sabrina Nsiko, the number 1 overall draft pick in 2020, and the New York Liberty begin their first full season at Barclays Center by hosting the Indiana Fever and Kelsey Mitchell, the WNBA's 6th leading scorer last season. That coverage is from 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Other games on tap that evening include DeWanna Bonner and Jonquel Jones for the Connecticut Sun visiting the Atlanta Dream, with newly acquired Odyssey Sims, Tiana Hawkins, and Cheyenne Parker and the Dream debut at their new home, Gateway Arena in Atlanta at College Park. That coverage is at 7:30 p.m. Eastern. And the Minnesota Lynx, with back-to-back Rookie of the Year winners, Nafisa Collier and Crystal Dangerfield, welcoming the Phoenix Mercury, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. And the nightcap, the Los Angeles Sparks, led by Nika Okawunke, will host 2020 season leading scorer Arica Abenwell, and the Dallas Wings at 10:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Current owners of the number 1, 2, 5, and 7 picks in the first round of the upcoming April 15th WNBA draft presented by State Farm. Action continues the following day when the focus will be on a pair of games featuring 4 league MVPs. The first matchup will see two-time league MVP Candace Parker make her debut with the Chicago Sky at Washington against former MVP Elena Delle Donne and the Mystics, 1 p.m. Eastern. The spotlight then shifts to Seattle for a rematch of the 2020 WNBA Finals participants when reigning WNBA Finals MVP Breanna Stewart, 11-time All-Star selection Sue Bird, and the defending champion Storm will receive the championship rings prior to hosting the Las Vegas Aces, led by 2020 regular season MVP Archie Wilson, and with 6'8" center Liz Cambridge returning along with newly acquired All-Star Chelsea Gray, 3 p.m. Eastern. The WNBA caps off its opening weekend on Sunday, May 16th, with 2 more games. The action starts when the league's all-time leading scorer, Diana Taurasi, and the Phoenix Mercury visit the Connecticut Sun, 12 p.m. Eastern, and concludes with New York Liberty playing at the Indiana Fever, 2 p.m. Eastern Time. Following an off-season of unprecedented player movement, some of the most anticipated action will feature stars taking the court against their former teams. So, breaking it all down, Candace Parker in the Sky will host her former team, the Sparks, for a weekend series on Friday, May 28th, 8 p.m. Eastern, and Sunday, May 30th, 6 p.m. Eastern. The following Saturday, June 5th. Parker will, for the first time, face the Spark as a member of the visiting team when Chicago visits LA at 3 p.m. Eastern that week. New York's Natasha Howard, the WNBA's 2019 Defensive Player of the Year, and a 2-time champion during her 3 seasons with Seattle, will meet her former team for the first time when the Storm visits Barclays Center on Wednesday, August 18th at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, and Friday, August 20th, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Howard will return to Seattle for the first time with the Liberty on Thursday, September 2nd, 10 p.m. Eastern. Las Vegas and Chelsea Gray, a 3-time All-Star during their tenure with the Sparks, will host her former team on Friday, May 21st at 10:30 p.m. Eastern and visit Los Angeles for consecutive games on Wednesday, June 30th, 10:30 p.m. and Friday, July 2nd, 10:30 p.m. Kayla McBride, a 3-time All-Star with Las Vegas, will lace them up against the Aces for the first time as a member of the Lynx on Friday, June 25th in Minnesota. That game was at 8 p.m. Eastern, and make her return to Las Vegas on Friday, July 9th, 10:30 p.m. Eastern. So due to the ongoing pandemic and the Olympic break, instead of the originally planned 36 games, the 2021 regular season will see each team play 32 games, 16 at home and 16 on the road. Each team will play 3 games apiece versus 10 opponents, and 2 games, 1 home and 1 away against 1 team from the opposite conference. The regular season currently scheduled to conclude on Sunday, September 19th, and be followed by a traditional playoffs and finals format will include a break from July 15th through August 11th. The schedule also incorporates steps to reduce the number of trips teams take, including the use of a series model where in some instances, a team is scheduled to play twice in one market, with those games being scheduled consecutively. Information on fan attendance during the 2021 WNBA season will be provided by individual teams in conjunction with league and federal, state, and local health and safety protocols. Additionally, the WNBA recognizes that it may be necessary to postpone or cancel some games due to the pandemic and has, where possible, built flexibility into the schedule and is prepared to adjust as necessary. Select elements for the WNBA's historic 25th season include the inaugural Commissioner's Cup, the WNBA All-Star Game selection of the W25, the greatest game-changing player since the league's inception in 1997, and the unveiling over the second half of the season and playoffs of the WNBA's 25th greatest moments, ranked from number 25 through number 1. Details on these season elements will be forthcoming. So, wow, that's a great accomplishment. WNBA coming back for their 25th season. Wow, it's going to be so fantastic, stupendous. I can't wait to watch those girls play again. I love seeing the WNBA. I love it. I just love it. I get fired up every time I see WNBA. I say, oh, yes, the season is back, baby. I get fired up for that. Moving on here. So, former UConn coach Kevin Ollie has joined a new basketball league designed to provide elite high school players another potential pathway to the NBA. Ollie will serve as coach and director of player development for Overtime Elite, which markets itself to players between 16 and 18 years of age with promises of academic education and a 6-figure salary. The league offers another possible route to reach the NBA in addition to the NCAA, the Development G League, or overseas play. It's to start in September and features about 30 players, all living and playing in the city yet to be named. Ollie was a standout guard at UConn before embarking on the 13th season NBA career. He returned to UConn as an assistant and took over for Jim Calhoun, leading the Huskies to a national title in 14. Ollie was left go in March 2018 amid an NCAA investigation for violations. He fought his firing, arguing there was no just cause, and the school owes him more than $10 million that was left on his contract, which ran through June 30th, 2021. Overtime Elite was recently launched through the sports media company Overtime. Among the league's selling points, top coaching, advanced sports science, and performance technologies, state-of-the-art facilities, and personalized academic programs. Each player is guaranteed a minimum salary of at least $100,000 a year, along with signing bonuses and shares in the company. The league also offers health and disability insurance, in addition to college tuition should players want to go to school, but their college eligibility would be forfeited. Ollie will work with Brandon Williams, who serves as the league's head of basketball operations, to construct a more than 40-person staff that includes assistants, trainers, scouts, advisors, and specialists. At UConn, Ollie worked with players such as Kemba Walker, Andre Drummond, Jeremy Lance, and Shabazz Napier, all first-round picks. So this is a great basketball program that Kevin Ollie and some other NBA players have decided to do for young players coming into the game. I love that. I love what the NBA is doing. I love what the former coaches and the former players have gotten together to do. It's fantastic, and I can't wait to see how it all comes together in the end. So moving on here. So Vanderbilt guard Scottie Pippen Jr. has declared for the NBA draft without signing with an agent to keep his options open. Pippen announced his intention Saturday morning with a social media post. He said he was best to come to Vanderbilt. Scottie Pippen Jr., guess who he's the son of? He's the son of six-time NBA champ and one of the league's 50 greatest players, Mr. Scottie Pippen. He ranked second in the Southeastern Conference, both in scoring at 20.8 points and with 4.8 assists a game. He ranked 16th nationally in scoring per game. Coach Jerry Stackhouse said Pippen earned the right to check out his draft status and his Vanderbilt's full support. Yeah, Jerry Stackhouse, coach of Vanderbilt. Jerry Stackhouse, former NBA player, Wizards, Detroit Mavericks, Nets, Raptors. Scottie Pippen's son, great things at Vanderbilt. And Scottie Pippen, I'm sure he's a proud and happy papa that his son is going to be, he might declare for the NBA draft, depending on his draft stock. So can't wait to see that happen. And sports fans, for the first time, sports fans will get to come to the Wizards and Capitals games. So the company that runs the Washington Capitals and Washington Wizards has announced the first game for each team that will be held in front of fans. Monumental Sports and Entertainment said in a statement Monday that fans will be admitted to the Capital One Arena for the Wizards game against the Golden State Warriors Wednesday, April 21st, and the Capitals game against the New York Islanders Tuesday, April 27th. Mayor Muriel Bowser's office of the Department of Health and District's Homeland Security and Emergency Management Agency approved the team's request to open the arena at 10% capacity, about 2,100 fans. A host of safety rules are in place for fans returning to the arena. Some of the major ones. So here are the steps. Face masks. Not gaiters or face shields are required for everyone over age 2 unless you're eating or drinking. They'll be provided if you don't have one. All tickets will be electronic. Tickets will be sold in pods of up to 4 to maintain social distancing. Seating will be staggered around the arena, and no aisle seats will be sold. This means that if you're a season ticket holder, you might not get your regular seat. All food at the concession stands will be packaged and meant to be taken back to your seat. There's no standing in the concourse. More information on the rules, as well as ways to get tickets, is on Monumental's website. So, if you're a sport fan, and if you like the Wizards and Capitals, check them out. So, moving on here. So, before I end my show, I want to talk about Alex Rodriguez maybe buying a sports team after all, just not in the sport everyone expected. The former New York Yankees star and former Walmart president and CEO Mark Lore have signed a letter of intent and are negotiating with Minnesota Timberwolves owner Glenn Taylor to buy the NBA team, according to the Athletics' John Koranczynski. The deal also includes the WNBA's Minnesota Lynx for Christopher Hine of the Star Tribune. The pair reportedly has a 30-day exclusive negotiation window that will take control of the team in 2.5 years if a deal is finalized. Adrian Wojnarowski of ESPN also reported that the deal was being finalized and tweeted a statement from the prospective owners. Taylor was reported last summer to be looking into selling the team after nearly 3 decades of majority ownership. Koranczynski reports that Rodriguez and Lore have already agreed with Taylor on a $1.5 billion valuation of the team and will now try to hammer out the rest of the deal. If an agreement is reached, the pair would have to be approved by the NBA's Board of Governors, per Hine. Taylor said Rodriguez and Lore pledged to keep the team in Minnesota and will include language in the deal to prevent a move for the team. So Rodrigo missed out on buying the Mets. So yeah, Alex Rodriguez, he missed out on buying the Mets. So Rodriguez's bid for Timberwolves ownership comes shortly after his first attempt by the New York Mets alongside ex-fiancée Jennifer Lopez. Lore was among the other partners in the bid alongside a reported plethora of athletes, including Travis Kelce, Brian Urlacher, DeMarco Murray, Joe Thomas, Bradley Beal, and Mason Plumlee. The MLB team instead went to hedge fund billionaire Steve Cohen, who was already a minority owner of the team. The ordeal was an extended stage saga with Rodriguez and Lopez's first bid sputtering out when it became clear their partner, billionaire Wayne Witham, only wanted the team if it was heavily discounted. This final price he was asking for was $2.4 billion. So the pair then found new partners and was reportedly preferred by the Wilpon family, selling the team, but just couldn't overcome Cohen's financial muscle. Rodriguez and Lopez have since been reported to have split up, which they denied. It is unclear if Lopez is involved in the Timberwolves bid as well. So who is Mark Lore and Alex Rodriguez's business partner? So while Rodriguez made over $400 million in his career, Lore is likely the partner in providing the majority of the money in the Timberwolves bid. The New York native stepped down from his position in running Walmart in January. Before his time with the retail giant, Lore was an entrepreneur who co-founded business, including Jet.com, sold to Walmart for $3 billion, and Diapers.com sold to Amazon for $545 million. Koranczynski reports that Lore and Rodriguez have been business partners for years through their company VCP, and they recently took public electric aircraft startup Archer Aviation. Lore told the Wall Street Journal earlier this year that he hoped to buy a sports team, and the Timberwolves may have been the most attractive option on the market. So, Kevin Garnett tried to buy the Timberwolves. So all these like athletes and movie stars trying to buy the Timberwolves. So Rodriguez isn't the first athlete to attempt to buy the Timberwolves from Taylor. T-Wolves legend Kevin Garnett publicly signaled his interest in purchasing the team as soon as it was reported to be available. Garnett, who has a continuous history with Taylor, announced that bid had failed in March. He had some choice words for the billionaire. Yeah, so, I hope Rodriguez, Alex Rodriguez, former Yankee vet, Kevin Garnett, former NBA vet, Timberwolves, Celtics, Nets. Kevin Garnett actually came back to the Timberwolves in 2016 and played with the Timberwolves again. So, I hope it all goes well for whoever gets to buy the Timberwolves. And that is my show. Thank you so much for tuning in, listening. I always love when people listen to my show, Sports Talk Live. You all have a great day, safe day. And you have been listening to Sports Talk Live here on the world famous E-Radio WMCR. I'm your host again, Brandon Buckner, saying so long for now.